This video is about removing the power steering reservoir on the Turbo 996. Has 4 fittings on the right hand side here. 1, 2, and then back here is 3, and right here is 4. These are both pull-out, push-in fittings, and these are unscrew fittings. And then down below it has mount bolts that you have to take loose to actually remove the reservoir itself. So let's get started. Alright, so I want to show you now the little 10mm hole that's behind the power steering reservoir. They got to get out. This is so you know where it is. It makes it a lot easier to take all the bracketing off of the air conditioner compressor. So let's go back like so, nice and slow, so you keep reference. See that little bolt way down there. That's what you have to get off. And you probably have to use like a universal joint to get that. Alright, so the first of the tube connection I'm going to take off is the one closest to us. This one here. It's a 13mm, and the one behind it is an 11mm. That's right, I said it, 11mm. What the heck. So anyway, I'm going to take this one off with a regular little, it's like a tubing fitting remover, and I'm going to take this one off first so I have a little bit of room, because I don't have the 11mm of this little, like a brake line wrench. I have 11mm regular open-end wrench, so I can move this out of the way and then I can get to the one in the back. Then I'll do the other 2 push-out fittings, and then I'll release the mount bolts. So let me take this one loose. I don't want to make you watch all this. I'll cut some of this out, I think. Okay. Once that's out of the way, you can use your 11 and get to the one in the back very easily, like so. And they're a little bit tight. Alright, I didn't feel like going out, so I went ahead and I took a Dremel to my wrench and I made the spanner. I mean, not the spanner. I made the flare nut wrench. So now I'm going to go in there and see if I can get that 11mm one off. See what we got here. Perfect. Came right off. No problem. Take the time to do it right, otherwise you're going to have headaches. Alright, so now we get the mount bolts and get that reservoir out of there. Once that came loose, I noticed this bracket. There's a little plastic bracket here that holds these. I guess the previous owner busted that. So I'm going to have to take this off. Take this off here. Just one of these bolts that mounts the top of the reservoir to the bottom of the reservoir. Just take this one off in the corner, and this whole little plastic mount will come off, and then I will relieve it from the smaller line here, and I will replace it with a new one. Here it is. This is the mount that holds the hydraulic lines, and this one's busted. They're supposed to be the same. See, it's supposed to look like that on both sides. This one's busted off. So I'm going to try to get another one of these. Get the focus there. It just screws off like that. Alright, so to get the hydraulic lines loose in the back, there are 2, and they both have a little red ring around them. The key to getting those out is to push the little red ring in. Keep the ring from coming out when you pull on the tubes. So I'm using a 8mm open-end wrench for the first one in the front, and I'm putting it right up against that little red ring, and it's holding it in this way, okay? And then I just pull on the tube, holding firmly and really keeping that little red ring snug up against the housing. You really got to keep that thing snug, and then you can wiggle the tube and it'll come right out. For me, the wiggling is in the best. Just wiggle, and then there it is. Okay, push that in. You gotta keep it pushed in because it'll grab at any point and pull it back in. But be careful not to break that plastic tube because, big job. Okay, all right, for the tube in the back, I lucked up and I had this 13 millimeter, and I don't even know what it is. It's this really skinny little 13 millimeter wrench. It worked perfectly. I put this up against the little red ring, and then I pried with a screwdriver. Okay, so I put it in like so. See if you can see that. Okay, and then I pried against the hose and pushing in on the ring with this side. I pried out with the screwdriver, and I got the tube out without damaging the ring. Okay, so that's how I got the one in the back out. All right, so I sucked as much of that power steering fluid out of there as I could. Now, these two little 13 millimeter bolts, oh my goodness, I had to order this open socket L-shaped spanner, L-shaped open socket wrench. I don't know, there's a lot of different names for it. That's basically what it is. To be able to get in here, to actually get in like so, and it was still tricky, as you can see. Still getting in there was a little bit tricky to break this particular one loose. I don't know how many people have done this or what they're using to get it. I had to use this. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish taking these two loose. This was the most difficult one to access. And then I'm gonna take this out and let you see the back of it. All right, guys, I finally got this power steering. What's this? I finally got this power steering reservoir out of the car. Okay, I did it entirely with this 10 millimeter open socket L-shaped spanner wrench. Okay, open socket L-shaped spanner. This guy, I was able to get in there and break it initially with this, and then I was able to turn it around because it has 6 point on one side, 12 point on the other. Some have 6 points on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. But it worked great. So I got this guy out. I'm happy as I can be. I did remove all the brackets, as I mentioned earlier, on the air conditioning compressor to get to it. And then I used this spanner. And I was able to move this out of the way a little bit because I had the bottom 13 millimeters removed, so that helped. But you do have to go at it from the left side, and I used this little spanner, and that was all I needed. I didn't use universal or anything. That was kind of cool. Alright, that's how you remove the power steering reservoir called reservoir for the Porsche 996 Turbo. Thanks for watching and have a good day.